Put it away until further notice. There it goes. Go for a little sleep, a little vacation.
Night night.
I'll be here in my garage right now. Look at this sexy ass 4.0 buggy.
What?
Damn.
Sexy.
Good right here. She is looking good. I'm due for a motor change here as well. We got to try out a few other motors still. Alright. Man, anyway.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Well, my buggy is sexy, just not right now. She's kind of, as you can see, naked. She's got the front end missing. But she will be looking sexy by the end of the day. If not, that means I ain't going to be running shit, because I'm not running shit until the vehicle that I just ran is cleaned and ready to go. Anyway, what's up, Nitro Nation? Muggy Maniac is in the cave. Got some wrenching going on. Man, check it out. Even the Muggy Maniac knows he's getting old, or he hasn't pulled apart a vehicle in a while when he's got to bust out the owner's manual, the instructions. When all else fails, read the instructions, people. And if you don't, invest in one of these things. The best freaking early Father's Day gift that I ever had. This awesome Canon 4-color printer. Man, with that thing, I was able to print up all my owner's manuals, man. Here you go. The XTM, we got the Techno, we got the Mugen MBX7 there, we got the Mugen MBX5 Pro Spec right here, race kit. So anyway, welcome all newbies, middies, oldie but goodies, buggy maniacs, truggy maniacs, muggy maniacs. Muggy's over here taking a nap like John was just showing right there. You know, this thing is hibernating for a while, taking a sleep. As soon as this bad boy is put back together, cleaned up and everything, she's probably going to take a nap for a minute, so we can get focused back on the, now that's a sexy truggy right there. So we can get focused back on this sick-ass Techno whip right here with the modded Pico P3.28. But first, before this, we're going to have to get busting out this beast over here, the MBX7T race truggy with the full Novarossi package, modded 28.8 Rex Legend, Novarossi 41032 header, famous, infamous setup, the 98886. I've got other pipes coming, so Muggy Maniac's got some stuff in the works. But anyway, you know, I wanted to kind of clear the air on a few things, because, you know, I get people, you know, that make comments, obviously, on a lot of stuff that I say, and some of it just goes in one ear out the other. But I mean, I take into consideration everything that anybody says. You know, it's part of this, I guess, if you want to say part of the criteria of having a channel and having people that follow you and ask you questions and either look up to you or respect you. Like, I'm nobody, okay? I'm just some Joe Schmo that has a lot of mechanical gearhead background and happens to get into nitro 35 years later, when the first thing that I ever did was E-Word, and I used to race E-Word, and I raced Traxxas, Associateds. I used to build my own batteries. A lot of the same shit that John used to do. We're kind of cut from similar cloths. That's why we relate a lot. I remember one time I asked John, and he's like, man, I wish you were my neighbor, man. We would just like, we would probably never sleep and get anything. We wouldn't be doing nothing but brapping all the time, which is cool with me. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just some average Joe that you know, got a mechanical background and experience, and I love to do this nitro. I mean, when I got into nitro, it just kind of fit my my personality and fit the way, you know, my mechanical skills that I had, and I just applied it to this. One of the reasons I was able to progress pretty quick, I've only been doing this 4 years, but I'm pretty technical. It took me, though, at least 3 years to get into modded motors. And I kind of took it little by little. I didn't jump right into it. Mr. Zaz tried to get me to get into modded motors right away, but I wasn't ready. I was still, you know, trying to learn how to tune and figure out how to, you know, put the stock Novarossi 28.8 into something without it destroying everything I put it in. Because that motor is badass stock. But anyway, one thing that I wanted to clear the air on is, you know, the last video that I did. Now, I'm not saying if you own a Savage or you own an LST or any of those monster trucks that, you know, that it's a bad thing. I mean, you're running nitro. Okay, that's cool and everything, but it just... The problem that I have with it is the fact that you have to mess around with those rotostarts and pull starts, and I'm just trying to save you guys headaches, man. If you think that that's, you know, what nitro is about, you are sadly mistaken. This nitro is about sealed back plated motors. Yes, rotostarts and pull starts, something that everybody goes through, but even newbies ask me, hey, should I get into nitro? Should I get into, should I get into, what should I get? You know, and I sometimes, you know, want to say, well, why don't you just get an RTR? But I tell them, you know what? You can get an RTR, but I tell you, you will burn out on that pull start really quick. And then when you put a backplate on, especially as the dynamite motors, that motor's going to blow up pretty fast. It's not going to last. So why don't you just avoid all that? Because me and other guys have done all the dummy work for you, so to speak. And we've been the guinea pigs. So why don't you just get a motor that's sealed? Why don't you save your pennies, you know, and get a bump start and just do it. Start out that way. You don't need to start out with a anybody that says, oh, well, a newbie should start out, I don't recommend an RTR to nobody. I do recommend the platform of an RTR, but as far as the motor wise, hell no. I tell them, if you're going to buy a low C kit for $400, first thing you want to do is trash that motor. Get rid of it. It'll just put a bad taste in your mouth. It'll just fuck with you, especially if you're new. Now, if you're not a newbie, but you want to get something decent, you're used to having, you know, monster trucks and other bullshit, get a low C, okay, RTR, and put a backplate on the dynamite motor and run it till it blows up and then get something else. But I don't like recommending pull starts or rotor starts to anybody, because that shit's just like, it's so much headaches, man. I went through all that shit. That's why I'm so against it. Pull starts, backplates, all bullshit. So if you guys are out there with your Savages and your LSTs and your anything that has a pull start and a back start, I don't care what platform it is. And like I said, I'm not riding Savages or LSTs or other monster trucks. I'm just riding the fact that those vehicles you have to use, you can't bump start them. That's why I'll never own a Savage. That's why I don't really care to run an LST. The only exception is the low C Muggy, because that is a monster truck, badass monster truck, built like a tank, okay, and you can bump start that shit. You don't got to run bullshit motors on them. You can throw a stock Nova 28.8 on that stock platform, and that thing will be a serious monster truck basher. So one of the reasons I'm kind of looking for one, if I find one that it's in good shape, comes with a lot of extra parts, definitely I'll be on that shit like a hobo on a hot dog. Trust me, people. And I'm the farthest guy from being a low C guy that you'll ever meet, and you guys know that. Not that I don't like low C, but I don't like the company that owns them and calls the shots, Horizon. So I'm not a low C guy, and I don't think their platforms are, you know, of current level of anything. A Techno, a Mugen, bashing or racing, put together right, will spank that low C ass. Race kit, 4.0, 8T, low C. Even in a new Associated. Even a Kyosho or a Hot Bodies. Those vehicles also, by the way, you can either bash them and you can race them and be competitive. If you, trust me, If you try to take a Losi 4.0, and I know guys that already, and I'm not just saying this, I'm just, you know, making this up. Guys that I know that race, not professionally, but that race locally, that have Losi, man, these guys are getting rid of their Losis. What do you think? Raja had to switch out his Losi. He knew that he couldn't compete with that thing in this day and age on a local track. He'll get that ass spanked. Okay? But does that mean that Losi is a bad vehicle? No, and I'm not down in Losis at all either. You know? It's good for newbies and beginners. If you're advanced and you want to get to the next level, you're not going to do it with a Losi. I think that's one of the reasons. And I'm, you know, there's no, you know, I'm not saying this just to say it, but I mean, 2 and 2 to me is 4. You know, I might have rode the, you know, short bus to school, but I know that much that, you know, I mean, people know enough to where if they're not going to race something if they know they're not going to be competitive. And I know plenty of people that just, a Losi is not competitive enough. Even the new X buggies, it took him over a year to finally get a podium. You know, Dakota Fenn. For those of you guys who don't know anything about racing, he races for Team Losi, and they've been beating the hell out of that X buggy for over a year, and they finally got a podium. But that was one. Let's see how the rest of this year goes. Just there's not a lot of racing and development going into Losis anymore because Adam Drake's not there and because Horizon doesn't give a shit. And that's the facts. So anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, people ask me, well, who are you to say what next level is? I'm nobody to say what next level is. You want to know what next level is? Here. Don't go by what I say. John isn't the one that says what next level is. You know, nobody is the epitome to say, okay, this is what next level is about in Nitro. But I'll tell you what, the definition doesn't lie and is the only thing that can define what it means. And I write this down and I keep this up here in the Nitro Cave. Look, next level, definition. This is Webster's definition. Surpassing others, uncommonly good, or impressive. Now, if you're running a Savage with a pull start or a rotostart and an LST the same, and any kind of monster truck or any kind of vehicle with pull starts and back starts, and you think that you're surpassing others, I don't know what kind of crack you're smoking, but it's bad and you should stop. And you're not uncommonly good and you ain't impressing nobody but yourself. Maybe. Okay? And that's just the facts. I won't ever blow smoke up nobody's ass. I'm not going to sugarcoat, candy coat, nothing like I said in the past. I don't really care. People can unsubscribe, subscribe. I don't really care how many subscribers I have. All I care about is if I can help somebody. And I help people all the time. I get people asking me questions, and you know that's why I'm going to go over a few things in this video that might help some guys out that obviously, you know, are struggling in certain areas. You know, and that's what this is about, you know, helping people out. You know, it's not about to say, oh, who has the most subscribers? Oh, who cares? Who gives a fuck? I don't. That's why I talk shit all the time, because I don't care. I'm just talking shit because I'm talking shit that has facts behind it. I don't just talk shit to talk shit. I talk shit to make my point and also, you know, have facts to back it up. Okay? So, that being said, if you want to be next level, if you want to go to the next level, first of all, you got to get a quality platform. If you don't got an X-Ray or a Mugen or a Kyosho or Associated or a Techno or a Hot Body, if you don't got any of those platforms, then, well, what can I tell you? You're not going to get to the next level by putting a modified motor in a piece of shit platform. You know, people ask, hey, Muggy, what do you think? I'm thinking about getting this LRP .32, this No Verocity 28.8 modded. Oh, what are you going to put in? I'm going to put in a Savage. What? You mean with a pull start and a rotostart on it? Oh, okay, well, I don't recommend none of that. Matter of fact, I'm totally against it. So if you're looking for advice about modding the motors or who to mod, then you're on your own, because I'm not going to condone anything that's going to have a pull start or a rotostart on it, especially to get modified. That to me is like sacrilege. And I will never, ever help anybody out that wants to bastardize a motor like that. That's just against what I believe. So anyway, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is We're going to go over 3 different things. Now, we talked about it, that I've been talking to you guys, the basic fundamentals of nitro. Tuning, maintaining, upkeep, cleaning, all that, and troubleshooting. So I'm going to try to cover all 3 of those a little bit. Mostly tuning and troubleshooting, or how to troubleshooting. When you can't get your motor tuned, what to troubleshoot. When you can't get your motor fired up, because that happens sometimes, and it's happened to me plenty of times, what you do to troubleshoot it. Process of elimination. Okay? Break-ins, briefly, there's not a lot to go over on break-ins. Now, one thing I do want to touch on, which is, I'm sure you guys have been wondering, the Nitro Nerd. Now, the Nitro Nerd guy, I can say his name now because I don't really care. I know I would say you know who, because you guys know who he is anyway. I'll call him by his name, because I'm sure he'll watch this video. The Nitro Nerd. Now, this guy, I haven't heard anything from him. He was going at me, as you guys know, for a while, and trying to nitpick and find... Well, he knew he was barking up the wrong tree. He was fishing with no bait, thinking that he was going to catch something. And he wasn't catching shit here, because there was nothing to catch, except catch some heat from me and catch some smack talking and have him to smack this guy around. He thinks that I'm just some hillbilly bitch like that Jam Racer 1 or whoever these guys that he's had in the past, that I'm just going to, oh yes sir or no. Fuck all that. I think he really came at me because he knew that I would talk shit back and that I wouldn't back down. I won't ever run from nobody, and I have nothing to run from or hide anything. Facts are facts. You seen me tune. You seen me do shit. You seen what I do. You hear my subscribers and people that ask me for help and people that I help. So I don't know what he was trying to accomplish, except I think he was just trying to ride the coattails of what I had going on, knowing that nobody really watches this shit anymore, for the simple fact that you can't understand what he says. I have only a handful of subscribers, and you know how many I talk to all the time that tell me they don't watch his videos anymore? I guarantee you he will continue to decrease until he either just packs it up or he actually takes some advice. And I gave him advice before too. Go back to your old videos. First of all, get a new platform. Get rid of all your old dinosaurs. Okay, except for your classics. Nobody wants to see your classics all the time. We don't mind seeing the classics, but we want to see some new, next level shit. Not your old school shit. So get yourself a new platform. Get rid of those fucking pull start bullshits that I don't know why he's even dealing with. That's what's funny, because the guy that knows that much about nitro and is pretty technical, the fact that he would run a pull start, and I've told him before, if you can prove to me facts that a pull start motor or a rotostart motor doesn't lose RPMs by all that shit spinning in there and everything connected, then I'll believe what you're saying. But I know you can't, because that's not a fact. The fact of the matter is that rotostarts and pull starts rob any motor of 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs. That's been dyno tested, facts, end of discussion. There's no argument there. So I don't know why the Nitro Nerd has always been dealing with pull start bullshit, because that's all it is. And I know he has sealed motors, so he needs to get rid of his pull start, rotostarts, all that bullshit, and nobody wants to see that, because all my viewers and all the Nitro Nation guys that I know, they know that all that shit's bullshit too. And even Mr. Za will tell you, that that's bullshit. And he doesn't fuck around with pull starts and rotostarts, and he will be the first one to tell you that that shit's garbage. Bullshit. Period. So anyway, either he needs to retire the Nitro Nerd, or he needs to get back on board and start fresh and start teaching the way he used to. Nobody wants to hear all your voice audibles and your smiley faces and all your special effects. Fuck all that smoke and mirror bullshit, whack junk. Nobody wants to hear it or see it. And that's just not me saying that. That's, the handful of subscribers and people that I talk to that say that about his channel all the time. They don't watch it anymore because they don't know what the fuck he's saying. They don't know where this guy went. He just went some other direction. Always trying to stir up shit. Now he's trying to pick some shit with this one guy in Europe. He's trying to tries to say that RPM plastics are they're no good. I don't know. This guy just fucking has nothing better to do than to point the finger at everybody else. Well, remember, when you point the finger at somebody, see that? You got 3 of them pointing right back at your ass. So anyway, enough about him. So let's get into this. Let me see if I can help some people out. The Mugen's got the front end off. I don't tear down the internal. I haven't torn it apart completely. What I do is I take the front end off. I take my shafts, the drivetrain shafts out. Clean everything. I usually clean it with a toothbrush, and so I'm not using water. I'll take it with a toothbrush, simple green, scrub everything down really good. Then I'll squirt it with rubbing alcohol to kind of dissipate the simple green, because simple green will leave a film, rubbing alcohol won't. Then after that I blast it with all different, with a couple of different types of silicone that I like to use. You use whatever you want, but I silicone the hell out of it. I grease the CVDs in the ends, take out my bearings, check them, re-grease them, re-lubricate my pillow balls, take out my hinge pins, clean them up, re-grease them, oil them or whatever. And yeah, just do a thorough surface cleaning. This isn't nothing, major. But if I'm going to be putting it away for a while, I want to make sure that it's nice and clean. I mean, I only ran it one session yesterday, but we did run pretty hard. Not yesterday, but the other day, the last video you guys seen. So anyway, because I ran her pretty hard, well, I'm going to make sure I do a good clean. But anyway, shocks are decent. I always check my shocks. These aren't bad, man. These shocks are still smooth as butter for 14 years old. Although I do want to get the new Mugen shocks, because these here, the new NBX shocks, man, these are money. Bigger, badder, smoother. So anyway, we're going to get this baby out there ripping soon. No worries. But we got to get the Mugen buggy cleaned up, because I ain't running my shit, like I said, until this vehicle's clean. So that's the way I'm going to roll from now on. If it might take a couple days before you guys see me running shit or whatever, however long it takes me, but I'm not running another vehicle until the one I just ran is nice and cleaned up. Is what I'm doing now. So anyway, let's take this motor. As you guys seen, this is my Reds R5 Team Edition 0.21, badass, modified, bam, by RV Mods. There's the tattoo right there. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, you guys seen this thing? Purrs like a freaking little kitten. Rips like a lion. Rock and rolls. Badass. I want to get another one. If I can find another one as good a shape or better, just like this, I'll have another one. This is becoming like the No Rossi 28.8 Rex. I love this .21, man. I recommend it if you can find one. It's got to have the black head. R5 Team Edition. The new ones, they have the new Team Editions. I don't think they're Team Editions, they're just called R5s. The new ones, they have the all red head. The head on it's red. But anyway, this thing is dialed to perfection. You guys seen it, so you don't have to take my word. Watch my last video. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about is I have one of my brothers there, had fired up his No Rossi 28.8 Rex Legend. He's breaking it in. Okay, the break-in process is simple. I'm going to run you through the break-in process. Then we're going to go into troubleshooting when you have issues of your motor not starting. Then we're going to go over basic tuning and troubleshooting. So hopefully I can get this within the next 10 or 15 minutes. I don't want to run this video too long. We're, what, 23 minutes right now? So anyway, first off, when you're breaking in a motor, the first thing that I do is I do the heat cycle. I do a combination of Bodegel and Adam Drake. Now, heat cycling means you're not even firing up the motor. You take the temperature of it, whatever the ambient temperature. Usually it's around 76 or so. I mean, normally. So basically, and this is for guys that want to break in their motors. And I suggest learning how to break in. There's plenty of videos on it. It's not hard. Just take your time. Be patient. And trust me, you'll learn a lot about your motor. You'll get it. You want to know your motor, man. Once you get to know your motors and how they act, how they react, what they do, it's just a lot easier for you to troubleshoot when you have issues or when they're not running right. You can just say, okay, I know why it's doing this, because of this or because of that. But if you never break in a motor and you send it and get it modified, or you get it broken, you never get to really know your nitro motor, then that's why John's so good. He knows his motors, man. Each motor to him, it's like a kid. And you want to see the birth of your child. You know, I give birth to this thing. I watch this thing grow up. I watch this thing mature. You know what I'm saying? It kind of sounds weird. I mean, normal people would probably, the normie would look at me right now if they heard what I was saying and say, man, this guy is, excuse my language, fucking bananas, man. Yeah, I am bananas. I'm bananas about 8-scale nitro, that's for sure. No secret on that. So anyway, man, it's a decent day out today too. Who knows? Maybe if I can get the buggy cleaned up and situated really quick, maybe I can get some brap in today. We'll see. But anyway, I heated up the heat cycle. I'll heat it up to 200. As soon as it gets to 200, let it cool back down. As soon as it cools back down to regular room temperature, then heat it back up. And I do that like 4 or 5 times. Okay, and that's what that does is it makes it easier for when you're starting it for the first time and you're breaking it in. It just loosens up a lot of the metals. Okay. Then the next thing that you're going to do, obviously, is fire it up. Now, most of the time, your factory setting should be fine. Check your needle, should be fine. Sometimes the top end needle is too much. Novarossi tells you to turn it 3.5 turns out from closed. So you close it up all the way, your high end, and then you turn it, open it up 3.5. I just do 4, which is easier. I mean, I'd rather run a little bit richer anyway. Sorry, people having a shot of my Zaw. Coffee is a hug in your mug. Okay, if you say so. So anyway, now let's just say the next day you got done, you know, after you fire it up, you get it running, you're running on an idle, it runs great, then the next day you got to fire it up and you can't fire it up. And this is what's happening to one of my Nitro brothers. So this is like a real car. There's only 2 things the 2 reasons this thing even starts. Fuel, fire. So what I do is I check my plug. How do you check your plug? Very simple. You get a spark, you get a glow plug, a glow igniter. Okay, there's a lot of different ones. I have a few of them. This is one of my favorite, the infamous Dynamite. But to be honest with you, I like this Hot Shot by Hobbyco. I'm going to get me another one. I love these. Anyway, here's the glow plug. Take your igniter right here. Put this baby in the end. See that? See that glowing? That means your plug's good and your igniter obviously is charged. Okay. Once you confirm that those are good, put your plug back in. Now the only other thing, the reason it won't start is your low end needle is that off. Because if it's flooding it too much, you're not going to start it. So check your factory setting, whatever it might be. I know on the Novarossis, you close it all the way, and then it tells you to pull the slide. Pull this slide all the way open, and turn the needle out 5 turns. That's factory setting. Once it's factory setting, and your idle is fine, your idle screw, and the fuel lines are clear, check your fuel lines, there's no reason it shouldn't start up. Okay? Like I said, the only reason it's having a hard time starting up is either the main 2 reasons, if the spark is good, plug's good, igniter sparking, fuel's coming in, is either your idle is too low and you need to turn it up a little bit because it's not getting enough fuel, or your low end is too, I want to say, too rich, and it's flooding it. So you're going to have to lean it out. Now remember, your high-end needle, which is here, and your low-end needle, okay, which is here, to richen it, which means to give it more fuel, is counterclockwise. To lean it, to give it less fuel, is clockwise. Now, when you're making those adjustments, I only do them in 10 to 15, as far as if you're looking at a clock, 10 to 15 increments. Real small. Don't do half hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. That's way too much. People do that. I mean, that's like you're gonna take forever to tune it, because you're either gonna go extreme one way or extreme the other way. That's why it's good to just small little increments. Even when I'm running my motor and I'm leaning it out a little bit, I do it in little tiny turns. I don't big turns, because then you're gonna have to retune it all over again. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, those are the only things. It's like a real motor, you know. These things only run on fuel and spark. That's the only reason they fire up. And if it's getting too much fuel, which means your low end needle is too rich, then you need to lean it out. If it's not getting enough fuel, that means that your idle screw is too low, and you need to open it up a little bit. And you can always adjust that later. And then what I do, once I get it running, how I want to find out how my tune is, before I do anything. Once I get it fired up, it's running a little rich, it's idling a little high, because I haven't messed with the idle needle or the high-end needle. As long as it started running high, whatever, first thing I do is I do the pinch test. That's my benchmark. That's what I have to go from, because that's the most important needle as it is. Once this needle is dialed in, everything else is a piece of cake. Obviously, you're not having to worry about leaning and riching. And your idle, you can adjust that however. But the low end is the hardest one that people struggle with. And I struggle with this low end needle for such a long time. But like I said, when you do the pinch test, if you go to fire up the motor and you let it run and you go to pinch it, and it takes longer than 6 seconds to quit, your low end needle is too rich. So you're going to want to lean it out, which is going clockwise. Now, if it goes the opposite and it cuts out too quick, then you're going to want to richen it up counterclockwise until you find a happy medium. I'm usually around 4 to 5 seconds. That's where I want my motor to quit, which is where this thing is. This thing's 4 seconds. It quits. That's why it's perfect for me. But all motors are going to be different. 4 seconds for this might be 5 seconds for an Rossi or whatever. But 4 to 5, I think, is about where you want to be. No less than 4, no more than 5. It's pretty easy. And your tune should be great then. I mean, if you're having trouble with tuning, the only other option that you have, like I said, your shims. If you have shims, check your shims. If you run a real low head shim, that could give you problems. And the same if you run a real high head shim too. So anyway, that's all I got. Just wanted to share that with you guys. You know, like I said, the basic fundamentals of nitro are the tuning, which is very easy. It's not hard. Just be patient, okay? The upkeep and the maintaining, which I showed you a little bit in here. You know, I clean and maintain and upkeep my shit. As soon as I'm done with this front end, I've already got the steering, servo saver and all that. It's all cleaned up. You know, got the whole front end. We're going to go, this is usually pretty quick. We're going to get into the center diff and I'm going to clean it up real quick. Get it nice and clean, and then I'm going to go a bit to the back and start taking the back end apart and cleaning everything. I should be done in a couple hours. It's not going to take me all day. Then I'm going to dress her up. Probably put her in a, I don't know, maybe we'll put her in the shelf mode, which is the beast mode. Maybe the God of War look will go on her. I don't know, I like the red look too, so. Anyway. That's all the Muggy Maniacs got. I'm out. Shout out to all my brothers. Roger111 doing his thing, race thing going on. Mr. Zah got his drag racing stuff going down. Mr. Lead RC getting ready for drag racing. Brake guys, those guys are breaking in motors, really busy. Me, the Muggy Maniac, man, I'm just continuing to dial in my shit and help people out and show you the results of what I'm talking about. Because it's a little hard and I don't expect people to believe what I'm talking about if I don't got the proof or the evidence to back it up, which means you see what I talk to you guys and preach you guys about and show you guys, you see the end result of it, which is me when I run my shit and you see my brapping videos out there. Well, is there anything else that I need to say? I don't think so. But anyway, that's all I got. I had another thing I wanted to talk about, but it's not a real big thing, but I know a lot of guys, and I've got into discussions, electric, what's better, or nitro. One of them isn't better. I'll tell you what the negatives, though, are to both of them. Now, let's start with nitro. The negative about nitro is that it's not easy to do. Okay? It's not cheap. It can be a little bit more expensive. It is more expensive than eWord. And it is a little bit harder to learn. But that's where the challenge comes in. Are you the guy that wants the easy way out? Are you the guy, and I'm going to lay this all out here because I get a lot of comments from and other people, and my friends give me shit all the time that run eWord. They don't say anything to me now. They can't. Especially when, when I show them, my shit spanking that ass. They don't want none. Or when their lipos burn up and their cars melt and all that bullshit, that shit ain't never happened with with nitro. But anyway, to get back to this conversation, the old argument is, who is better? Well, I don't want to say either one is better. Nitro isn't better. I'm not saying nitro is better than eWord. And I'm not saying that eWord's better than nitro. It's whatever you want. Now, if you want a challenge, if you want to test your skills, mechanical skills, then get into nitro. But nitro is not a lot of people. You got to remember this, people. Think of yourself as a rare group of people. People that do eWord, and I know a lot of them, and I used to do eWord, so I can talk all this shit, because I know about eWord. And that's why I did it, and all my friends did it, and still some of them do. eWord is for people that are lazy fuckers. Excuse my language, lazy. I don't care what they tell you. People that do eWord are lazy because they don't want to learn how to do nitro. And a matter of fact, they can't. I can tell you, and I know a lot of you guys out there that do nitro, and I'm sure you can attest to this, any one of us nitro guys can get a Coke can size motor, a 6S battery, maybe two of them the size of a frickin' brick, build a platform, and in a week or two, spank anybody's ass in eWord, on YouTube, anywhere. I guarantee you that. I can build any eWord, biggest motor, biggest battery, and spank anybody's ass. I'm pretty confident, even though I'm not the greatest driver in the world, that I can do that. And I can drive it. Now, my question would be to you eWord guys, can you tune a motor? Wrong, you can't. Most of you can't. That's why you don't do it. Because you can't. You don't do eWord not because and nitro because you don't choose to do it, because you can't do it. That's the challenge. Those that have crossed over, like me and Mr. Zah and other people, and Roger 111 from eWord into nitro will tell you that. eWord is so easy. There's no challenge. It's boring. It sounds like a frickin' sewing machine. That doesn't do nothing for me. It's not real. It's not a real scaled down vehicle version of anything. Okay? Nitros are real motor, real piston, real crank, real clutch, real flywheel. Everything. It's real. It's a real fuel burning, piston pounding piece of machinery. An eWord is not. It's synthetic. It's not even real. So eWord guys don't really argue me about that because they can't do nitro. They can't tune one of these. They can't maintain one of these. They can't upkeep one of these. And that's why not a lot of people do nitro. And that's why nitro will never really be that big. Even though it's grown, and even though it's kind of got back, because people out there, and there's a lot of people out there still, just don't have the DNA to do nitro. Period. End of story. End of discussion. That's it. Facts. I've done both. So if you've done both, then you probably can relate to what I'm telling you. But if you haven't, and you've just only done nitro, then you really don't understand eWord. So for my advice to you would, don't argue with eWord guys, because you're not going to win because you don't know enough about eWord. I do. Been there, done that. Used to race them, build batteries, all that shit. And there's nothing like nitro. Nitro is harder, definitely. More challenging, definitely. More maintenance and more upkeep and more money, definitely than eWord. That's why a lot of people do eWord, because they don't want to learn. They can't take on that challenge. They don't want to take on that challenge because they're lazy. They're like most of our society these days. Lazy fuckers that just want the easiest way to do whatever. But easy doesn't always pay off as far as satisfaction. Okay? E-word does nothing for so fucking... I can't even watch E-word YouTube videos. They put me to sleep, man. I don't know how the fuck people watch those. Boring, 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 boring. Nobody cares if your vehicle does 180 miles an hour and the next minute it's fucking burning up and catching on fire. Fuck all that. I'm good. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that. I've asked Adam Drake plenty of times. He said if he had it his way, he would do nitro compared to E-word. Ryan Mayfield, all those guys, Ty Tessman, you can talk to any of those guys. Jared Tebow, they'll tell you they prefer nitro more than they do electric. They just have to do the E-word because it's part of racing for sponsored corporate sponsors. But if they had it their way, they would only run nitro. Adam told me he would only run nitro. He's like, forget E-word, I have more enjoyment out of nitro. Okay? So anyway, and that's the legend. One of the most respected, if not the most respected figures in RC, E-word or nitro, Adam Drake, says that he'd rather run nitro. So anyway, that's all the Muggy Maniacs got. I got to get back to wrenching, get this thing put back together. Maybe I can get some brapping going on today. But definitely we'll get some brapping this weekend. So that's all I got. Shout out to all my brothers again. Raja doing his thing. Elite RC. Mr. Zakafed doing his deal. You know, just trying to carry this nitro torch. There's nobody else out there that I know of that's serious and sick in the head as I am. If you are, let me hear your comments. Let me see your shit. Show me some caves. Let me see some vehicles run. Get involved, people. Either be part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And get the fuck out of nitro. Get out of the way so the new guy can take the bull by the horns and actually try to make a difference and try to help some people out and try to spread the nitro love and the nitro fever. So that's all I got, people. Peace, I'm out.